Hello there, and today I'm going to be reacting to the Fat Files Waffle House, the Roman Colosseum of the South.
Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. I actually debated on which channel I was going to upload this video on because on one hand, we're going over a business and the business model that it has, but on the other hand, this restaurant is basically the Roman Colosseum of the South, and I'm pretty sure if you eat there enough, you actually get a deployment patch from the U.S. military. Regardless, I wore my schnazziest
Medal of Honor
for the occasion. Today we're talking about Waffle House. Okay, just to be completely clear with everybody, I was pretty sure I was not going to get caught off guard because Waffle House is already absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's an open PvP area that is like an MMA arena.
Looking into it and then found out that Waffle House is somehow connected to the Manhattan Project from World War II. So they managed to actually surprise me. Waffle House, this story begins with a gentleman by the name of Tom Faulkner. This man graduated from law school at 23 years old, passed the bar, and
he's a lawyer created Waffle House. That's pretty funny. Does he swoop in after all the brawls have happened, like off of legal services?
He drafted in 1940 in the days leading up to World War II. Because he graduated from college, he's presented with two different options. He can A, go straight into officer training, and that's a 3-year commitment, or he can just be a normal draftee and go in as an enlisted soldier, and that is a 1-year commitment. Now you gotta remember this.
Oh, I'd pick an officer in a heartbeat. I don't think I've talked about this. I did when I was at university. I went down to this is when I was in Oxford. I went down to the Army Recruitment Office to talk to them about Sandhurst, which is the officer training facility in England. And I actually went there, and they was like unbelievably keen when I was talking to them. Anyone who's been to a recruitment office knows that they're always very keen to speak to you in the beginning. I ended up turning it down just because I joined like a rock band and we were going on tour and stuff like that. So I ended up turning it down. But it's funny to think that I probably would have done it if I was given the choice, because I've always wanted to be like a captain. I'd have probably stayed until I made major and then I would have left.
At this point in time, like 1940, while World War II is currently going on, America's not involved yet. The attack on Pearl Harbor has not happened. And prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor, the American people did not want to go to war. Because of that,
yeah.
Tom Faulkner figures, hey,
they were very, very against it. It really wasn't until Pearl Harbor happened and then suddenly like America was like, you fucking what, mate?
We're not actually going off to war. I don't want to waste 3 years of my time just being in the military, not actually, you know, fighting a war or whatever. So he chooses to be a draftee. Goes into the military as an enlisted soldier, E1 private. From there, goes off to basic training. As soon as he gets through basic training, the attack on Pearl Harbor ends up happening. America enters the war. He immediately opts to go into OCS training and commits for 3 years. After
Yeah. You did, yeah. Get me out of enlisted men. The sooner as we're doing that, put me into officer school.
The officer training course, he actually gets slotted to be a counterintelligence officer where he does, and I quote, a lot of top secret stuff.
You see, my identity must remain mysterious and my mission secret. I cannot reveal it to you.
You can actually tell in the interviews that he gave later on in his life, like in his 70s, 80s, and 90s, that he's still not sure what he is and what he isn't allowed to talk about.
Yeah, happened so long ago. He's probably not going to speak to those people who are going to be like, hey, you can talk about this. And, you know, does he want to relive a bunch of stuff like that? Like, it's done. I get that.
But he did end up telling us that basically it was his job to try to sneak onto military bases, not as military personnel. So he would basically disguise himself as like a painter or a carpenter or whatever and try to infiltrate.
It's like these days, if you just put on a high-vis jacket and walk somewhere with like a clipboard, you can basically get in any building.
U.S. military base to expose weaknesses within the system to help.
Oh, that's really cool. He's a penetration tester. I'm also a penetration tester, ladies.
Counteract enemy spies. So he does that for a couple of years, and then one day he ends up getting orders like, hey, you're going to Knoxville, Tennessee. And he's like, okay, for what? And they're like, don't fucking worry about it, just show up. So he shows
the
up in
atom
Tennessee,
bomb.
he's given his orders, and those orders, I'm paraphrasing here, but they're essentially, hey, here's your partner. You two are going to hop in that truck, and you are going to drive it from Knoxville, Tennessee to Los Alamos, New Mexico. You guys are going to dress in plain clothes. You're not going to look at what's inside the truck. You're not going to talk about what's inside the truck. You're going to take this map and take that exact route. This route avoids every major city and every major highway. You are going to drive straight there 53 hours straight, taking turns sleeping in the passenger seat and not stopping for any reason whatsoever. And he does this for the next year and a half, pretty much non-stop. And then like 20, 30 years after the fact, he finds out that he was actually hauling the majority of the enriched uranium for all of the new
Dude was hauling uranium across America. No wonder they wouldn't let him stop at any like the highway stops. Jeez Louise. It's like Back to the Future.
nuclear testing and the building of nuclear weapons, which, as we all know, brings about the end of World
Man
War II.
alive.
At this point, he gets out of the military, moves back home to Atlanta, Georgia, starts helping his dad out with his real estate agent.
He lived long enough, so I assume the uranium was like effectively like secured and no radiation leaks.
Now he does that for about 10 years, and during this time he ends up selling the house right next door to his to another guy by the name of Joe Rogers, and they pretty much become best friends. Joe Rogers was
nice.
also an Army veteran. He was actually a pilot that flew B-24s in World War II. When
Jeez, that's a scary job.
Joe got back home after the war, he did not want to go off to college, so he actually just took the first job that he was offered, being a short order cook at a now defunct restaurant chain known as Waffle House. He worked his way up, becoming a restaurant manager, then eventually becoming a regional manager. And then one day his neighbor and best friend, Tom Faulkner, real estate agent, always looking for the next investment, comes to him and is like, hey, I'm thinking about opening up my own restaurant. I can get the real estate deal going on that side. I just wanted to know, like, if I opened up and bought a franchise of Waffle House, would you be willing to run it for me? Now,
Man, life used to be so much better, didn't it? Like, hey, dude, I'm doing this thing. I've got all this experience. Do you want to do it? And he's like, yeah, bro, let's do it. And then it all works out. Like, why can't we just do that anymore?
Like 1954, 1955, Joe Rogers has a ton of experience inside the restaurant industry, and he basically tells his best friend, like, hey, don't open a Waffle House. You should start your own thing. Waffle House's business model isn't that great. If you start your own restaurant, I will help you run it. He then
what a bro.
goes off on vacation with his family, and by the time he comes back, Tom Faulkner has already bought the real estate and comes to Rogers and is like, cool, what's the business we're starting?
Where's Pancake's house?
That is mental.
What?
Again, like, you got to remember, like, the money that they were earning back then. This is going to sound wild, guys, but even as like a restaurant like area manager, now maybe you make, I don't know, $60,000, maybe something like that. That dude would have been making like $150,000 in today's money. That is the difference.
And within the span of like 6 months, the very first of what is now the legendary
Waffle
restaurant
House
chain of Waffle House opens. And Waffle House
It looks nothing like WWE.
is legendary, probably for all the wrong reasons. I mean, even if you've never been to a Waffle House, you've heard about Waffle House because, well, I mean, Kid Rock got us right there. You've got Haley Booth, the viral waffle
The throwing chair one, that is
House
good.
cook known as the last chairbender.
Yeah. Look at that. Omae wa shinderu.
There's entire subreddits and YouTube channels almost
What kind of animal do you have to be to go to a fast food place and just start trashing it and like throw in chairs like the servers? You know what I mean? Like, where's the humanity in that?
exclusively dedicated to all the fights that break out at Waffle House. I remember the first time I went to a Waffle House, I stretched first, I grabbed a GoPro, I was ready to be a world star, nothing
G'd himself up in this truck outside for a brawl.
exciting happened. I just had delicious breakfast at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Is Waffle House actually good? I only know it as like, you know, the cedar ranks for WWE and MMA.
Which is probably 99% of people's experiences, because despite all of the negative PR, Waffle House makes a ton of money and has an incredible business model. Okay, Waffle House
that's
had
really
about
good.
$1.4 billion in revenue last
It's literally just like the 1% of like retarded customers giving it this bad image
year,
then.
which is about $650,000 per location. And when you take into consideration that
damn.
each Waffle House is absolutely tiny, that's really impressive. Out of their 2,100 tiny Waffle House locations, their yearly stats are 58 million cups of coffee, 124 million waffles, 153 million servings of hash browns, 272 million eggs, which is about 2% of all the eggs consumed in the United States of America, and
Is it just
85
breakfast?
million strips of bacon. Yes, I did the math. That is about 8,000 miles worth of bacon.
What you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
So Waffle
Alex
House
and
is
Ricky's
obviously
good.
doing something right. What exactly are they doing? Well, it all comes down to their business model and their branding. Now, with the Waffle House branding, all the negative PR about fights always breaking out at Waffle House, in a way, has actually helped them out a ton, because Waffle House,
It's free advertising.
by and large, is pretty much a regional chain. It's primarily down in the South. Yet,
Oh, right. I thought it was like all over the US.
Waffle House has become a household name pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. Like, I should not know that Waffle House exists as someone who lives in England.
America. You could have never even seen a Waffle House, and you already know Waffle House is open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day.
Oh, is it? I did not know it was open every single day for 24 hours a day. God damn.
And they serve breakfast. Why do you know they serve breakfast? Because their name is fucking Waffle House.
Okay, earlier I was saying in the video, do they only serve breakfast? As a British person, I see waffle as dessert, not breakfast. So
I mean, look at this sign. You're driving down the road, you see that, you know everything you need.
Everyone loves a good Belgian waffle, and if you've not had a Belgian waffle, you're missing out.
They sell breakfast.
And that's not a euphemism.
Do that with another breakfast place. If you're not from there and you don't know what a Denny's or a Perkins or an IHOP is, you have no idea. It's just a restaurant, maybe?
Yeah, they just serve food, like general food. They just serve whatever. I guess you could get breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. I think of those as like McDonald's, like nicer McDonald's.
Waffle House, they're selling waffles, which means there's like a 99% chance they sell other breakfast food. Fucking sold. I'm in.
Honestly, in my head, waffle is still dessert, but...
So already, the branding is absolutely incredible, but here's the true genius of it. Why did they call it Waffle House? Why didn't they call it Breakfast House or Bacon House or Hash Brown House? It's because waffles had the highest profit margin.
Oh, yeah, because you can just have big vats of batter, which is basically not going to go off for a while. It's very easy to mix and make. You can charge a lot. For the quantity that you can produce, you can charge a lot for what it actually is. That is clever.
I cannot stress to you enough how absolutely genius that is, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to sell breakfast, all right? Everybody's already in on breakfast, okay? I could be blackout drunk at 4 in the morning, and you could ask me, hey, do you want breakfast? I'm coming up like the Undertaker every single time. And there you go. The only thing open right now is Waffle House, okay? I was already sold on breakfast from the get-go, but because Waffle House is where we're going, guess what I'm getting? A motherfucking waffle, and they're making more money.
I suppose it makes sense if the shops are or the stores are so small, they can be open 24/7, because I don't know how many staff they have. Maybe they have like 3 or 4 staff, and you can just run like rotational shifts, so you can do it and not make people's lives hell.
Tom Faulkner was a counterintelligence officer because the man literally said 2 words and has already subconsciously tricked you into ordering the most expensive thing on the menu that
it's the most expensive thing on the menu, and you get like waffle, eggs, and bacon, I guess.
makes him the most money. So the branding of Waffle House is both simple and brilliant, and the rest of the business model matches that to a T. Okay?
I love that this guy is like some like random super genius, and he was like, oh fine, I'll be an enlisted man. Oh, the war's happening. Okay, I'll be an officer, and they let him in. And then he leaves it, like he's done with the army. He's like, I don't want to go to college, I'm just gonna work as a cook. And then I think 10 years later he's like the mega CEO of waffle breakfast.
All Waffle Houses are like virtually identical. They're very small. They only seat like 30 people, and you can actually see the cook making you your food.
Which I'm always much happier in these places like this, where I can actually just see the people making the food. One, it's entertaining, and I'd rather watch them than watch like the friggin' sports ball TV. And it always smells much better. Like, look at this. Can you not smell those onions being cooked?
Now, at a glance, you're just like, oh, they're just going for that like 1950s drive-through type of a vibe, which they are, but there's way more to it than that. Because the restaurant is so small, the kitchen never has the opportunity to get bogged down, meaning that they're moving tables very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So instead of having one kitchen and 100 customers, you've got one kitchen and 30 customers, and you can just turn those tables over 3 times faster, which pretty much guarantees
nicer.
that every customer is going to get exactly what they wanted, okay? They're not going...
Yeah, and it's going to be like, everything's going to be super fresh, nothing's going to be cold. You can see them cooking your meal in front of you. Man, good stuff.
For 5-star dining, they're going in there because they're hungry and they want breakfast, and now they're going to get breakfast really quick in a small setting that doesn't feel like a packed restaurant where they have to wait in line to be seated. And I know what you're thinking. What if one Waffle House just reaches its maximum capacity, right? What if it's just completely full with a line out the door 24/7 every day of the
that'd suck for the workers.
year? Waffle House surely would build a bigger Waffle House, right? No, we're going to take the same parking lot, and right next to that first Waffle House, we're going to build a second
No way.
fucking Waffle House, okay? The plan is working, and if it's not...
I love this idea of, we've got a plan, we're going to stick to the plan. That is awesome. I love that. I want to go.
Broke, don't fix it. Which is one of those things that seems dumb, but is actually brilliant. So obviously speed is key to this business model, and they've done themselves a big favor with their menu, because their menu is overwhelmingly simple, okay? It's literally one side of one piece of paper. Okay, the entire
Okay, so what do they got? They've got toasted toast and eggs with some stuff, bacon. I guess that's like a ham thing. A giant waffle. I'm gonna be real. That is a massive waffle, and the waffle is hang on. I'm reading this all wrong. That's large hash browns. How much is the waffle? A waffle is... I cannot work out this menu. How much is a friggin' waffle? Honestly, the pecan waffle with some chocolate chips. I'll be down for that. Steak and eggs? Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted from the React by trying to make my Waffle House order. I cannot work out how much this is. I'll have to Google it later.
Of like 10 things. They have waffles, sausage, bacon, ham, eggs, toast, biscuits, gravy, butter, and syrup. Guess how many flavors of syrup they have? One. It's fucking syrup-flavored syrup. The entire menu is simple, exactly how it's supposed to be. Oh,
Perfect.
sorry, they have hash browns too. Sorry, 11 things, not 10. Anyways, moving on. Another reason they do so good is they actually might be the best fast food chain when it comes to taking care of their employees. They pay on
nice.
an average. They have super flexible schedules, and they're one of, if not the only fast food chain that actually offers all their employees healthcare and dental insurance.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. What a great
I know
company.
what you're thinking. You're like, okay, but really, how good are they actually treating the Waffle House employees? I got the one stat that's everything you need to know, okay?
How many get injured by the customers from throwing chairs?
Waffle House treats their employees so well that employees are willing to commute into a natural disaster to work at a different Waffle House when the occasion arises. Yeah, Waffle
really?
House is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they fucking mean it, okay? Whenever there's like a hurricane coming or some type of impending natural disaster, Waffle House organizes what they call a jump team, a bunch of Waffle House employees from a different region that's going to be unaffected because they know that their local employees are going to be busy taking care of their own family and their own houses during a hurricane. So they bring in teams from outside the region to work inside of a natural fucking disaster, and they're willing to do it.
I never said that.
Man, this is awesome.
And you'll never have to.
The best Batman film, in my opinion.
Barely get their employees to show up on a good day, and Waffle House.
Yeah, like it's hard enough to get employees to show up on a good day in a bad job. Like no one wants to turn up to a bad job, but if you have a good job and like people are like going the extra mile, you know it's a good place.
Employees volunteering to commute into a fucking hurricane to make breakfast. And this is the most impressive part of the business because Waffle House has the best logistics and preparedness of any company I've ever seen ever. The only entity that beats.
And it makes sense if you have quote so few menu items because it's much easier to just do the delivery for that.
Logistical capacity is the United States military. Waffle House is literally ready for absolutely anything. Every single Waffle House has the playbook inside of it that details exactly how the staff is supposed to handle literally any type of emergency or situation that could possibly arise. And if for some reason,
damn, that is that military training coming in. Oh, that is so cool.
The situation comes across that isn't in that playbook, after it happens, they immediately add it to the playbook. It covers tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, a hole in the roof from a branch falling, a car driving into the restaurant. You can drive a car into Waffle House and they're still planning on staying open. The playbook even has detailed plans for every type of disaster for what the local employees, while they're not working, should go home and do to make sure that their house and their family are safe as well. Every single Waffle House has a backup generator. The stovetop, it runs on propane, and they have a bunch of extra propane tanks on hand.
Do they have something that do they have a note in the playbook if one of the propane tanks explodes?
Flashlights, candles, batteries, backup water. They have a special menu of what they're able to serve when the water is out and they're running on reserve water. When a Waffle House location is going to be in a disaster area, that Waffle House stocks up on extra food, and then all of the neighboring locations in the unaffected area also stock up and stage food there to get them more food when they need it.
No way. That is, I'm so impressed. My opinion has completely changed of Waffle House. My opinion of Waffle House that it was just this rumble rough house, like drunk like dudes at like 2 a.m. No, my opinion of Waffle House has improved 10,000-fold.
Waffle House is a standing structure. Those motherfuckers are serving breakfast come hell or high water.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
Waffle House is so good at this that FEMA uses them to gauge how bad natural disasters really are. Yes, FEMA.
Surely that kind of determines how useless FEMA is. I've heard some super negative stuff about that organization.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency literally uses the Waffle House Index to gauge how bad a disaster is. Okay.
Why can't they just be as good as Waffle House?
Green, Waffle House is running as normal. Yellow, Waffle House is using the backup generator or having to use an alternate menu. Red, Waffle House is closed. People are probably already fucking dead by that point.
Yeah, like it must be wiped off the map for it to hit red.
This is literally the Terminator of the fast food industry, okay? The fact that the federal government, probably the most powerful entity on the planet, maybe ever, looks at a chain of restaurants.
Well, behind the British Empire, the height of its power, I mean.
It's like, man, if Waffle House is closed, we need to mobilize the National Guard is fucking crazy. Now, maybe you guys are thinking the same thing I was at this point in my research, and I'm like, man, I need to invest in this company. I need to see if I can open up my own Waffle House franchise.
Is it going to be all like privately owned as well?
This company's awesome. And this is where the bad news comes in. I mean, technically you can franchise a Waffle House, but most of us probably can't. The company is privately owned. It's not on the stock
Nice.
market.
That's why it's not dog shit. That's why it actually cares about employees. That's why it actually is fun to work out. Fuck my life. Privately owned is so much better.
It's still owned by the families of the original two founders. And while they do
Beautiful.
allow franchises, they are super picky about who they let buy in to have a franchise.
Oh god, you've already sold me.
Franchise, and they make it very, very expensive to buy in to make sure this is actually what you want. And while that is unfortunate, I think it's actually kind of awesome. It's a company that actually has morals and cares about their image more than they care about next quarter's profits, okay? It's a company that has committed themselves to making breakfast under any circumstances, and they're gonna see that through till the very end, even though they could probably make way more money by just selling franchises and letting whoever the fuck throw up a Waffle House. And
this
now,
is beautiful.
Ending, Joe and Tom worked together as best friends for 62 years to build Waffle House into what it is today. They both passed away at the ages of 97 and 98, and now Waffle House and their legacy lives on as that company is still being operated by their kids, and that is the American dream. Get together with one of your best friends, pick a goal, even if it's something as simple as serving breakfast to people, and never let anything get in between you and achieving your goal. Even hurricanes and floods and natural disasters, apparently. Work with your best buddy for 62 years straight, and then die together and hand it off to your kids. In conclusion, Waffle House is the most American company ever, and that's why I love it. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Quack bang out.
Our link is in the description. That was wonderful.
Dedicated their life to.
That was truly wonderful. What a great. This is a great channel. I'm gonna do more of these. I had a comment on one of my, I think I did the toilet paper corn on the cob one that he did, and I got a comment saying like, "Hey, check out his other videos. They're really good. They're really good." There's one about where the U.S. Army like parachuted in beavers. I think they did it in Japan. I'm gonna watch that one and do that probably in like a couple of weeks. This guy is great. He tells really good stories. I feel like I'm around the campfire. That is how good this is. I'm really happy to have learned about Waffle House. I literally thought it was just this like really dumpy like 2 a.m. everyone's drunk or stoned like fast food place. I had no idea it had this rich history of like this wonderful family and of essentially two brothers. I know they're not brothers, but they're brothers in spirit. Just like working on this for so long, and it's privately owned and they care for the employees, and it's so badass, and they haven't sold out. So when I visit America, I'm definitely going to Waffle House now. That's like, I'd much rather go there than like friggin' Arby's or whatever it is. I want to go Waffle House. And is it Steak and Shake? The one where they like, hey, we're only going to serve fries in like beef tallow. And I'm like, oh my God, how do I get there? Get me out of England, man. One day. I'm so happy to have learned about this. This has made my day. I'm really happy about that, man. Thank you for the recommendation, guys. Don't forget that I live stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday on my alternative channel, which is linked below. Links in the description. Thank you for watching. I shall catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.